bien. Mais c'est bien comme ça, non? J'écris bien. Ah, que maintenant ils disent... Si, t'imagines? J'écris avec des fautes d'orthographe, c'est foutu, là. Youn, et c'est toujours comme ça. I, ou, I, T,
O, U.
non, 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 non.
L, O, L.
Non, non, c'est tout. Tiens, Harutiun, regarde, Harutiun, ça c'est sûr. Harutiun. On écrit comme ça avec notre arménien. C'est le taux. Et quand c'est I, ou, ça c'est la ou. Ça c'est la I. Quand tu fais I, ou, tu fais pas celle-là, tu fais
Mika, je t'ai envoyé par photo.
C'est ça. Le guitariste, en plus le guitariste, tu vois les...
Io non faccio cena stasera, sono stanca.
Hello, thank you all for coming. I'm Mkhitar Garabedian. I was born in Halep in Syria. I live in Belgium. I guess I would like to take the opportunity to thank Adelina to invite me to this magical place and to be part of this great group of artists.
The Minister of Culture told me do an exhibition on diaspora. Please, Mrs. Bogosian.
Երիկոսիրելի բարեկամներ, գերաշնորհաբահար, մետարգո պարոն դեսպան, շատ ուրախ եմ, որ գտնվում եմ այսօր այստեղ ճիշտ այս ժամին։ Ես կարծում եմ, որ շատ խորհրդանշական է, որ այսօր մենք այստեղ համախմբել ենք Սփյուռքի ժամանած մեր արվեստագետներին եւ համախմբողը Եվրոպայի կենտրոնում հայության խորհրդանիշ հանդիսացող Սուրբ Ղազար Կղզին է։
Artists are coming from different countries, different continents, different background, different generation, and some of them I work with, and some others I didn't. So I did the research, and it came out this selection. There is also good balance between female and male artists. Almost half of the artists, by chance, they are women. According to the country from where they were brought up, they are influenced by the country, but also very much influenced by their own Armenity.
My name is Mikhail Ohanjanyan. I was born in Armenia. Now I live and work in Florence. Io mi sono ispirato da questo sito archeologico in Armenia di 8000 anni fa, si chiama Zoraz Karer o Karahunch, che vuol dire Kar e Hunch, vuol dire stone e suono. Che i miei lavori sempre, anche nel periodo figurativo, sempre c'era tensione. Penso che questo viene proprio del contrasto del paesaggio dove io vivo, ho vissuto, dove sono nato.
According to the space, I invite artists and I do the concert. In this case, the space is the San Lazzaro Island, which is in one side the most important location historically for the Armenian diaspora, but in the same time is a place where all our culture was, preserved for all these last 300 years. So obviously I'm very much influenced by the monastery. And the same are the artists, because most of the artists came last winter to visit the monastery. So there is a very big connection between the artworks and the monastery. Here we have Meliko Agnan.
Tous ceux qui servent à rien dégagent, s'il vous plaît, merci.
So you go once a year to Armenia or Kerala?
Why not twice?
You talk with them in Armenian.
A little. I declare this place as a zone for no production, inviting people there to produce nothing.
Rosanna Palazian, who came from Brazil.
I have two works here. One of them is a video installation.
since I was a child, I listened a small thing here and a small thing here from the grandmother, from my mother, from my father. And this video, I think I mixed it as a puzzle.
Hello, my name is Nigol Bezjan. I was born in Aleppo and now I live in Lebanon, Beirut. Several years ago, I started making a film about an Armenian poet who was killed in the genocide by the name of Tanya Barjan. It's called Milk, Carnation and Godly Song. And every time I show this film, the audience will ask me, why did I choose Tanya Barjan out of all the poets and the writers who were killed in the genocide of 1915.
So the most incredible things when you do this sort of exhibition is that you discuss with the artists, you speak about the work, some works you see, but everything is in your mind. It's your imagination that helps you. The important thing is that what you have in your mind become the reality or even better than the reality. And this is a critical moment when sometimes you don't know what they are doing, so you trust their logic. I'm just surprised how much this exhibition is mimetized with the spaces.
Here we have Anna Bodikian from Cairo, and I did a little installation in memory of the city of Ani, the center of learning and the center of architectural renaissance. It started during the Iron Age of Urartu and the beginnings of Ani, which was the kingdom of Ban and Ararat, and eventually Ani started becoming a glorified city of 200,000 people, but it went into dust after 1860, and it was conquered by many people.
Venice, of course, is this meeting between Mediterranean and Middle East. Each time there is an occasion to do something here, I exhibit. The first one was 1990 with Sarkis.
A mammoth bone from 100,000 years, broken, and was restored by gold. And I have a work that you can touch and you can look to open this very, very difficult 100 years moment that must be open the frontiers, the language, the relation of the people.
Questa serie di vetrate che lui ha fatto, questo ha trovato per terra quando è andato a Yerevan. I grew up in Istanbul until the age of 10. But then when I moved with my parents in Italy and then in Switzerland, it was of course a sort of shock for me because I was different, because I was the only Armenian in the school. I was the only foreigner in the school, both in Italy and Switzerland. So I choose art to be able to deal with my difference. Otherwise, it was difficult for me. When I came from Istanbul to the boarding school in Italy, every night I did this exercise at the age of 10, 11 to remember every single moment of my childhood. So even today, I can describe you what I did, etc. And I realized that this is something that many Armenians do. For instance, if you look at the film of Janikian here, you will see that the father is explaining his calvaire of the genocide, but almost he remembers every single village, the time, how many days, etc.
Ora la Turchia ha risolto il problema degli armeni. Cristo è morto in Turchia. Sono uno straniero che desidera visitare il suo paese perduto.
Sono una coppia, Giannichiana e Angela Ricci Lucchi.
Io ho dedicato una parte del mio lavoro da artista a far sì che questa bellezza di questa cultura non andasse perduta.
Lui faceva delle audiocassette, leggeva e mandava ad Angela e Angela le presentava. Perciò nella sala sotto c'è il film di lui che è l'altra, cioè è la storia del traduttore di questo. Una trascrizione dai nastri, ci sono molti quaderni con i piccoli disegni che poi diventano questo.
My name is Ekaterina Gigisian. I was born in Greece. I'm half Greek, half Armenian. I spent most of my adult life in London, and in the show I'm presenting a series of collages and an artist book, which are produced out of photographic albums and tourist catalogs made in the 60s and 70s and a little bit in the 80s in what was then Soviet Armenia, Turkey and Greece. I was interested in this moment of time and in this type of media because for me it expressed an idea of nation. So in the collages and the artist book I deconstructed these photographic albums and tried to reconstruct a new landscape. The work is called A Small Guide to the Invisible Seas. The reading that I chose is a metaphysical, a gender reading of the material into bodies of 7 seas. The work is about the process of nation building and its deconstruction, but it is also about the pleasure of looking at images.
The works have to be part of the place. And this is important because this is not a museum where the people come during the day and then it's closed. This is a monastery. They are monks living, people living. They have their own rituals, their timing, etc. So what is very important is to respect this. Like going in the house of somebody, you don't enter in the house of somebody, they invite you and then you change all the furniture, everything. You try to put yourself in the rhythm, like Goethe says, in Rome you have to be Roman.
My name is Silvina Dermagardician. I'm born and raised up in Buenos Aires, and since over 25 years I live in Berlin. My work is a booklet from my great-grandmother. She kept a very interesting knowledge about folk medicine in her mind from Aintab to Aleppo to Buenos Aires to Cordoba. 1 year before she died, she wrote 350 recipes of folk medicine for the whole body. And I tried to give her back in the line of history, putting her booklet in these shelves and relating to the treasures that are here in the monastery with manuscripts of physicians from the Middle Ages, for example.
Hello, my name is Hera Bektaşyan. I'm coming from Istanbul. My work is in Lord Byron's room.
Ideally writing a letter, saying letters from Lost Paradise, but actually here the text is in English but written with Armenian script. letting the two languages exist in one sentence. And the second piece are the hands, which I call the keepers, because in Turkey I began to stop to write in Armenian my texts and stuff. And since 2013 I began to get more closer with my language, and I began to feel that I take out each forgotten letters and words.
My name is Haig Ayvazyan. I'm from Beirut. I'm showing a sculptural work which is the beginning of a larger research project on a oud player called Udi Hrant, who is a blind musician who was kind of a key figure of post-Ottoman classical Turkish music. And I'm interested in him as a figure to think about the complexities of what an Armenian and what a Turkish identity might sound like.
If you remember the golden if you want to get that last one on the dragon. So your husband grew up in Armenia.
So your husband
Right,
grew
so
up
if
in
you sit on the vowels,
Armenia.
you can control any tongue twister.
Grew up in Armenia.
Nina Kachadurian from the States.
I live in New York. I was born in California. My mother is from Finland. My father is Armenian. I'm showing a work here that has to do with my parents' accents. My parents both come from very different parts of the world. They grew up in combinations of places, and people ask them about their accents all the time, and their accents are like an encapsulation of their life stories.
There were a lot of early life accent experiences. We lived in England when I was 7, and I came back with like a thick British accent, and I had to like unlearn that and sound American again.
I'm Nina Kachadurian.
That's a very unusual name.
Very important is that on these last 300 years, the monastery accumulated and received a lot of donations, accumulated books and manuscripts and also artworks by the artists. So the show is conceived in a way that the exhibited artworks, they are, say, the last step of this accumulation. So therefore there is a sort of mimetism of the works and the exhibition spaces, because the exhibition spaces, they are not white cubed empty cubes, but they have their own life, they have their own collection, they have their books, they have their objects, etc. So each artist that we gave the space, or we decided together, they were inspired by the space itself, by the room itself.
This was a pre-existing vitrine with many objects, clichés, books in it. The first element was how can we work with this vitrine with what is in there. We take everything out, we keep some, and then we come with something else, which is the occasion of 100 years of genocide. How can we relate to history? How can we read? And how can we actualize it in this moment?
So it's not all engaged exclusively with the history of the genocide, but I would say probably the largest line for us was trying to really take it to task and try to locate ourselves also ethically with a relation to this rich archive, to this history. And so I would say in a way, maybe this is like the result of a battle between us and this kind of history and the archive,
images,
books, and also all the fragments. We wanted also somehow this density of an experience that can't be simplified, that needs time to unpack.
Hi, I'm Aram Jibilian. My great-grandparents left Armenia during the genocide. My parents and my grandparents were all born in Cairo, Egypt. I was born in the United States and raised in California. Now I live in New York. When I went to the Whitney Museum of American Art for the first time, I saw this painting and I immediately recognized these faces and looked closely at the tag, and it said Arshil Gorky, country of birth, Turkey. So I was like, okay, Gorky doesn't sound Armenian, Turkey doesn't sound Armenian, but I recognized the faces. To me, that painting vibrated with this Armenian energy that I remember growing up with, feeling this sadness. I learned that this was an Armenian person who had been through this genocide. I saw it as a sort of a reconciliation, maybe an expression, maybe asking a question of how do I move forward from here. I wanted to investigate into the painting and create a relationship with it and to really see how am I carrying sort of this reconciliation into my life, into my artwork.
My name is Hirar Sarkisian and I come from Damascus and now live in London. My work is called Unexposed and it's about Armenians who were forced to convert into Islam during the genocide, 1915. And the descendants of these people now who are like second, third, fourth generation, they are reconverting into Christianity in Istanbul.
Based on a people in diaspora, the pavilion took the form of a palimpsest with contemporary positions inserted into a site of historic preservation. In a year that witnesses a significant milestone for the Armenian people, this pavilion marks the resilience of a transcultural confluence and exchanges. Golden Lion for the best national participation goes to the Republic of Armenia. The curator, Adelina Kubierian from Fürsten.
The fact that this translation leaves you always foreigner, it was the case, but now that we start after 100 years to understand that we exist as a nation in front of the world, not in front of ourselves, that our culture, our language for the first time this year came out as an identity, public identity, not private, that exists in Armenian language, exists alphabet, that is not only for Armenians, but the world know that it exists, that will change a lot. So we will not have this feeling of being foreigners. Not only we were and we are citizens of the world, which is typical of the ones who speak all these languages, but we are part of the world history.